Good morning, dear students. So, today we are going to read a new play which is written by Colin Dexter. Colin Dexter was a crime writer. He is a British writer, and in this play, he has written about a prisoner who was very clever and cunning at escaping the prisons. He was known as Evans the Break. So the title of the play that we are going to read is Evans Tries an O-Level. Evans' full name was James Evans, and he was a prisoner who was known by the prison authorities as Evans the Break, because he was very adept and skillful at breaking the prison and being successful in coming out of that. So in this play we are going to read how he takes an excuse by telling that he would like to give an O-level exam. O-level exam is the basic level of the examination in German language, and as he had been studying German language for the past 6 months, he makes a request to the governor of the prison that he would like to give the exam. And here comes the angle of sympathy. Now, do you think that there should be sympathy shown to such prisoners who are so clever at breaking the prison and running away? The second angle that we are going to look at is that the connection between crime and punishment. Is it a battle of wits? How clever the prisoners are, and how clever the authorities to prevent them or control them should be, because the basic level of wit, that is intelligence and understanding, is required to prevent these prisoners to run away or flee away from the prisons. So it is, as the title suggests, it is the story of Evans, and he is trying at the O-level examination, which is just a means of escaping the prison. The governor is a very gullible governor, because he has a sympathy for Evans, and he heeds to the request made by Evans, and therefore he makes a call to the superintendent of the examination board and requests him to let Evans give the examination. Now, this is the main thing that we have to focus on, that how the criminals or the prisoners know the shortcomings of the prison authorities, the prison officers, or the governor for that matter, who is the head of the prison, HM prison in Britain. So this kind of understanding, this kind of cleverness on the part of the prisoners who understand how gullible these people are, how and what can make them, what can be done to fool them. Such things are the skillful activities of a prisoner, and on the other hand, it is the smartness of the prison authorities. So in this you will see that it is the last laugh of Evans, who manages to dodge the governor and the prison authorities and the officers, and finally he escapes from the prison. Now in this story, or in this play, we also come to know that we should condemn the crime, but at the same time we need to be sympathetic towards them. But do you think that these criminals or the prisoners uh, take advantage of the sympathy shown to them? Yes, of course. They understand every negligence on the part of these authorities, and they hardly ever try to uh, change themselves. So please keep on watching the video. I will be reading Norman Colin Dexter. He was an English crime writer known for his Inspector Morse series of novels, which were written between 1975 and 1999 and were adapted as a TV series. So dear students, Norman Colin Dexter is the writer of this play. Evans tries an O-level. O-level is actually a level of examination in the German language. So there are many levels, and this is the O-level, that is the basic level of examination. And therefore in this play we are going to read about Evans, whose full name was James Evans. So students, let us have a look at the characters of the play before we actually read the play. The first and the protagonist of the main character of this play is James Roderick Evans. He was a prisoner, and the whole story revolves around him and his cunning ways. He was a kleptomaniac. Kleptomania is actually an impulse control disorder in which the person cannot resist to steal. The person does not know whether he is really stealing. He just picks up and lifts the things and goes away. So he cannot resist that kind of impulse. Therefore it is called as impulse control disorder. It's a very rare problem with the people. Second is the secretary of the examination board, a higher official of the examination board. He is the highest official and he is the secretary, the post that he was holding. Then you have the third character is the governor of HM Prison, Oxford, where Evans was a prisoner. Mr. Jackson, a prison officer. Mr. Stephens, a prisoner officer. So you have two prison officers, that is Mr. Jackson and Mr. Stephens. Then you have Reverend Stuart McIllery, an invigilator. He is the proctor or the priest, you can call him as. Then you have Mr. Carter, a detective superintendent, and Mr. Bell, a detective chief inspector. Now let us have a look at the theme of the play. This story depicts a clash of wits between a criminal and the law enforcing authorities, in which the jail prisoner Evans befools the jail authorities and manages to escape from the prison. If the government and law enforcing officials are vigilant, crime can be detected and criminals can be booked. But criminals like Evans can hoodwink the authorities and escape punishment as long as the officials are slow and lack alertness and wit. Now I am going to introduce you to the story with the help of this short summary. The story starts with a telephonic conversation between the governor and the examination board secretary. So first, when you start reading the story, you will have a dialogue between the governor and the secretary of the examination board. The prison authorities want to conduct an O-level exam in German language for a prisoner named Evans. The secretary asks about the venue of the exam and also about the invigilator for it. The governor replies that the exam can be conducted in Evans's cell and a churchman will be appointed as the invigilator for the exam. They both then end their conversation by deciding on how and when the exam will be conducted. A senior prison officer, Jackson, visits Evans's cell to conduct an inspection so that if any weapon may be hidden. They are going through this checking because Evans had successfully escaped from prison earlier also. The episode gave him the name of Evans the Break because Evans used to break the jail and used to escape. The governor was not ready to take any risk with this as it could bring a bad name to him. Jackson and Stephens checked the cell thoroughly. Cell is the prison. And see how many precautions they are taking. All the prison officers are checking the cell, the prison thoroughly so that nothing can give him a chance to escape. They had taken away his nail scissors also, and Jackson ordered Stephens to take away his razor blade as soon as he had shaved. Jackson ordered Evans to take off his hat but left it because Evans requested him not to do so as it was his lucky hat for the exam. All sorts of arrangements were made to keep a check on Evans. Even a microphone was placed in his cell. On the day of the exam, McCleary, the churchman, reached the prison and was assisted to the cell by Stephens. So Stephens was the prison officer who took the churchman, that is the priest, McCleary, to the prison because he had come as the invigilator. The governor was informed that the exam was about to begin and that the cell did not have any weapons. The governor ordered the officer to check the churchman so that Evans may not use any belongings of McCleary as a weapon. So they were taking so much of care that how Evans should give exam, there should not be any weapon, and even the invigilator McCleary should also not help him with some weapon, or he should not have any weapon which Evans may use it. The churchman and his belongings were searched. The paper knife was also removed so that Evans might not use it to injure the churchman in order to escape. During the search, Jackson found one abnormal thing in the churchman's bag. It was a semi-filled tube. When asked the reason for keeping it, McCleary said that he had to use it as he suffered from piles. The exam began and everything being spoken in the cell was constantly heard by the governor. Meanwhile, a phone call from the examination board for some corrections in the question paper made the governor suspicious. He cross-checked it by calling the number again, which turned out to be busy. Then again there was a phone call from the magistrate demanding for police officers and a van. Such things were suspicious to the governor, but he calmed down as he was sure of his arrangements. Stephens stood outside the cell and peeped inside after every minute. It was always the same, but later on he noticed that Evans had put a blanket around himself. So Stephens, who was guarding the prison, the cell, the particular prison in which Evans was giving his examination, Stephens was standing outside and he was looking inside after every minute. But he found everything was same, that is Evans was writing and the invigilator was sitting there. But later on he noticed that Evans had put a blanket around himself, though he doubted it at first, but then stopped thinking much as it was cold inside the cell. So Evans had requested the invigilator to allow him to put the blanket around himself. And this Stephens saw. He was suspicious, but he felt that it is very cold, so he must have taken the blanket. Later on, the exam was conducted, and as the governor ordered on the phone, Stephens accompanied McCleary to the gate. So when the exam was over, Stephens escorted and took McCleary to the gate to see that McCleary did not play any game there and he was sent out of the gate of the prison. Everything went as planned, and Stephens was happy to be sure of himself. He once again went to the cell for a final look. He was shocked to see McCleary lying in a pool of blood. Soon the news spread that Evans had injured the invigilator and had escaped from the jail by impersonating him. McCleary, who was badly injured, was taken to the governor as he had some important information. McCleary told the governor about the photocopy being placed on the question paper, which shared the escape plan with Evans. The governor tried to decode the German language and found out that Evans would reach Newbury after his jailbreak. Soon, Superintendent Carter was also called, and McCleary was sent with him to catch Evans. Both Jackson and Stephens were scolded for being aware about Evans having a false beard and the churchman's belongings in his cell. He then ordered both of them to go to St. Aldate's police station and meet Chief Inspector Bell. Meanwhile, Carter called him up to inform that they had missed Evans while chasing him, and that McCleary was sent to Radcliffe Hospital. That McCleary, who was helping them to search Evans, was in fact Evans himself. Soon the real McCleary was also found by the police, who was tied up at his house. On the other hand, Evans had reached Hotel Golden Lion and was enjoying his freedom. When he reached the hotel room, he found the governor in his room. He told Evans that he had all of his men around, so there was no chance for him for escape again. The governor in his room The governor asked him about his plan, and Evans told every bit of it to him. Finally, the prison van was called to take Evans to the prison. The governor felt proud of catching him again. As soon as the van started, the prison officer unlocked Evans' handcuffs and asked the driver to drive fast so that the police could not catch them. So in this way, even after catching and arresting Evans, the governor again failed to arrest him because he did not understand the tricks of Evans, because the police officer, the prison officer, along with the van, the driver, they all were Evans's friends, and they again dodged the governor, and finally Evans could make his escape. So in the pretext of giving the exam, Evans was able to escape the jail once again. So this shows how cunning Evans was, and the lacking of the reasoning and lacking of the vigilant power of the jail authorities is shown in this play. Finally, Evans once again managed to escape from the clutches of the police with the help of his friends. So dear students, we will read the play, but meanwhile you start reading the play, because when you read it yourself, you will be able to understand better, and you will also be able to judge where you are not able to understand things. Then we shall clarify the doubts in the live classes. So please pay attention and read the play. Thank you.